Yeah, so let's break that down a little bit because I think there's a couple interesting pieces to talk about there that may be impacting, our ability to create sustainable analytics. So I hadn't thought about it until you brought it up, but I think you bring up a really, really good point. And in fact, it's an interesting juxtaposition because I was just talking with a prospect yesterday who I don't know if it was from them or that they have a salesperson in their ear, but they came to me and said, "Hey, we're a fairly immature practice. We actually don't even have a team. We've got a real mess internally with the implementation that we have done across multiple business units. Our goal is to have consolidated data within 90 days and a fully functional BI practice within 180 days." And I said, "We can't help you. We can't be successful doing that. That is unrealistic." And I think it may have been the first time someone from a sales perspective may have told them that, because you're right. When we hear from the sales team, it's their job to like grease the what is it? Grease the wheel, grease the skids.
Yeah,
I'm
grease the
I,
wheels.
I'm bad with the idioms today because I was on with Jen and I said it's like putting all your eggs in one basket. And she's like, "You mean eggs in one basket?" I'm like, yeah. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. So I'm messing up all my idioms today. But the sales team is really, historically it's been their job to schmooze, right? And come in and it's like, "Oh, everything is so easy." And or you remember the early days of analytics, like when we kind of mocked the magic. "I'll just slap this on there and instantly you have analytics and reports and insights and everything just magically runs." And then they sell the deal, and then internally things start to fall off their wheels really quickly. But in order to save face, we just do a bunch of stuff to do a bunch of stuff. So we're from the beginning, we're kind of set up in a place of being unsuccessful because the map that we've put in place is not a map that is going to lead us to a place of building something sustainable. The map, I shouldn't pick on IKEA because they have great furniture. There a discount. Let's pick a discount box store where you buy a desk. Uh, remember in
Yeah, let's
college
go with
or
this. Yeah, the Staples Special or something like that. They've
yeah.
got.
So
They have
yeah.
exactly what
So
I'm thinking of, or with what you're
yeah.
saying.
So in college, I had an entertainment center and I had a desk for my room that was from one of these locations, and it was literally like a couple pieces of wood and mostly cardboard holding it together with these little tiny nails.
Yep.
And is it any wonder that that thing started falling apart in like 6 months and you're trying to tape it together with duct tape? And that's the opposite of sustainability, right? And we convince ourselves at the time that, well, we don't have the money to invest in doing it right. But what we don't realize that is if we did that calculation over time, that we're actually spending more money in lost efficiencies and frustrations, and eventually we have to replace this thing 3 or 4 times because it keeps falling apart, and it ends up costing us way, way, way more money. And so I again, I hadn't really thought about it, but I think you're right. I think, sales and marketing is a big reason and problem why companies are going down this path of unsustainable analytics, because what they're pitching to them, the vision they're selling to them, the map they're putting in their hands is known to lead to something that is anything but sustainable. And so that's a huge problem. If you're starting from a place where your directions are wrong, is it any wonder you're winding up in a wrong direction? The other thing that I was thinking about as you were talking through that is I wonder how much of it is an output of what we choose to observe and reward. Meaning that most organizations tend to reward action. And it doesn't really matter what the action is. It doesn't matter if it's right action or wrong action. It's like, "Oh, Jim is doing something." Remember the episode of Seinfeld where I think it was George, where he said he came up with this thing that if he just walks around the hall like making all these movements like he's frustrated thinking about a problem all the time, that they think he's a high performer. It's
Yep.
like that, right? Like the person in the office, and I'm sure I've worked with this person, I'm sure you have too, that is like constantly like in motion and like everything's like an emergency. They're always trying to solve this complex problem. Like, wow, that guy's a real worker. He's doing a lot of work. He's like, well, he's certainly making a lot of movement. I don't know that he's actually getting anything of value done. I wonder how much that comes into play as well. because you and I have both seen it firsthand, where organizations reward their analytics team from doing all the action. You got to be watching the simulcast of this on YouTube to get the full effect of me making all the arm movements and the. But you know what I'm saying? Like
Really good.
it's. We're rewarding like the appearance of work, and so if we